soul is an engine running on fumes. I'll fill it with sadness of a Hank Williams tune. My brain is a highway, I'm rambling around. I got the heart of a poet, so I write it all down. My old friend Luke, he done drifted away, and we all struck gold on the road he paved. But the sequins and rhinestones could never shine bright as the women and whiskey and all the white lines. I'm living the life that killed Elvis. I'm stuck in a heartbreak hotel, and old Jerry Lee tried to warn us this car was headed for hell. We're dancing like Jesco and D-Ray. We're crying when the old possum sang, and laughing at all them posers making that manufactured twang. I last saw Luke on a lost highway. He left us a shadow and a price to pay. And now I stand at the edge of his early grave. I know the longer the journey, the shorter the stay. I'm living the life that killed Elvis, stuck in a heartbreak hotel, and old Jerry Lee tried to warn us this car was headed for hell. We're dancing like Jesco and D-Ray. We're crying when the old possum sang, and laughing at all them posers making that manufactured twang. Heard there's some work down in Macon, tailor fit for a man like me. No strings and no commitments, living footloose and fancy free. I'd fill you in on the story, but not much has changed at all, except the bottle's my new best friend, and it keeps me hanging on. So I'm writing you this letter, though you don't care anyway, and I'm heading for the station. I can't wait another day. I'll be on the last train from Harlan, southwestern Georgia bound. Oh, my heart is bruised and broken, and my spirit's beating down. But if Lady Luck rides with me, and we're running right on time, then come early Sunday morning, I'll be across that Georgia line. Oh, the reasons that you left me, they were plain for all to see. He can provide the life you wanted and can give you a luxury. He'll throw around his daddy's money, get his way like a spoiled kid. But for all his gold and silver, he can't love you like I did. I'll be on the last train from Harlan, Southwest and Georgia bound. Oh, my heart is bruised and broken, and my spirit's beaten down. But if Lady Luck rides with me, and we're running right on time, then come early Sunday morning, I'll be across that Georgia line. Then come early Sunday morning, I'll be across that Georgia line. There were timber cutters and shine runners, gamblers and chicken thieves, coal miners and hardliners and officers of the peace. Picked up the torch from Daniel Boone and they settled on this land. Their word wasn't written in lawyer jazz, just a firm shake of a hand. Snake charmers, tobacco farmers, heathen and godly men, carpet baggers and street beggars, both holding out their hands. Well, it's a quiet town now, some make it out, but the ghost still haunts the street. And those that don't study the history, Lord, they're doomed to repeat. Then the old crow made us famous, and all the frat boys knew our name. Well, that trucker was headed in the wrong direction, but it worked out all the same. Hey, we don't need no funky hipsters putting us on the map. We were born and bred, alive and dead, down in the Cumberland Gap. Well, I played a lot of shows and sold a lot of oats with the real Billies making the scene, getting zapped at the Gap Tap and closing down the UNC. And I can't count the times that I've caught the rhymes walking around this town. And on my dying day, I really hope and pray that my ghost still hangs around. Well, Mr. Isbell must have Googled, 'cause somehow he knew our name. That Mustang Lounge ain't got no windows, but it worked out all the same. Hey, we don't need no Bama boy putting us on the map. Take your Nashville sound on out of this town. We were born in the Cumberland Gap. Yeah, we're born and bred, we're alive and we're dead, and we're down in the Cumberland Gap. Well, I was up late night a-drinking, watching YouTube. I started binge watching Charlie Manson interviews, thinking about the hard times and bad places that I'd been. I had to back away slowly when he started making sense. I put on some Reagan Boggs and she calmed me with her smile. Clicked on some suggestions, watched some clips from Justified. Then I thought about your line ways and my mind began to dwell. And I envied Boyd Crowder when he blew that town to hell. One more shot and I'll be through is the lie I tell myself. It's the one that'll get me every time. Well, I suck at adulthood and I should be turning in, but old Parton hooked me up real good tonight. And now I'm here down in another round of black cherry shine. I was one-eyed texting, it was damn near 3 o'clock. I drunk down my exes, now I think they got me blocked. I even emailed my hero and asked to open up his show. I'm gonna feel like a real loser next time I'm on the front row. One more shot and I'll be through is the lie I tell myself. It's the one that'll get me every time. Well, I suck at adulthood and I should be turning in, but old Parton hooked me up real good tonight. And now I'm here down in another round of black cherry shine. Yeah, I'm here down in another round of black cherry shine. Yeah, my head's pounding from all that down in some of that black cherry shine.
All right, today here in the Promotion Studios, we're joined by Brandon Fulson. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I know it's in the middle of quarantine and everything. It's probably not best that, we're within 6 feet of each other. But, I think we both checked out. I think we're both got a clean bill of health. So how have you been dealing with all this stuff going on? You've been sitting there in front of a camera putting out music occasionally.
Yeah, I've done a live show on Facebook a few weeks ago and just been writing songs like crazy because there's nothing else to do. So I've been staying in and writing songs, and I go to work every day and I drive around writing songs on a forklift.
Okay.
Then I come home and write them down.
So do you, when you're writing the songs on the forklift, do you have it just kind of in your mind, or you do
it usually spurs
kind of talk it into a phone sometimes?
Well, usually it'll start with something someone says, just like a one-liner, something hits me funny, and I'll start thinking about that. And I'll think about it for a while, and then I'll be sitting there and I'll kind of get the melody in my head and I'll have the tune going, and then as quick as I can I'll get to my phone and type the words in so I don't forget them.
So it's like kind of like a Pearls from Swan kind of deal. You just like, that's...
Then I go home, grab the guitar, and
right on.
And put it to music.
So you've been writing and recording for how long now? I mean, you've been active on this local music scene in the Southeast for...
Yeah, well, I started 22 years ago, actually. That's hard to believe. But I started writing songs, and it's kind of a funny story because I really had no intention of getting into music. That wasn't one of my things. I was actually, believe it or not, it's funny, I wanted to be a professional wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah, for real. And so I was... my dad loved to go coon hunting. We had coon dogs around the house, and typical Southeast Kentucky.
Yeah.
And so one day I had a dog that I'd quit going hunting with him, and my dad comes up to me and says, "Hey man," says, you don't ever take that dog hunting anymore, so why don't you let me sell him? And I was like, well, I need some money,
Yeah.
So we go back and forth on. He's like, I'm not going to pay you for a dog I gave you. We just go back and forth, and finally he's like, well, here. He's like, I got a guitar, and he's like, I'll give you this guitar for that dog.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, and because I had been writing some poems, and I wouldn't show them to anybody. I was kind of like embarrassed about it. It was one of those things I would write poems in school.
Yeah, like an outlet.
And so then when he offered me the guitar, it kind of hit me. I thought, wait a minute, I could be a songwriter. That'd be cool. It just sounded a little cooler than a poet for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, they're one and the same.
They are. Yeah. I've learned that over the years.
Yeah. Wow.
So I just took the guitar, and I actually started learning just for the purpose of writing a song.
That sounds like a song in itself. I traded my dog for a guitar, man.
People have been telling me I need to write that song for years. So
I'm surprised you haven't.
I have to one day.
Right on. So over 22 years, you've had a lot of big shows in this area. You've played for, opened for quite a bit.
Yeah, I've opened for quite a few people. Most recently, the one that really meant the world to me was opening up for Ray Wally Hubbard. Mm-hmm. He was one of my big heroes. That was a highlight for me. And over the years, I opened up for guys like Scott Miller at the Shed. Opened up for Molly Hatchett, Blackfoot, Lucky Tubb, Charlie Robinson out of Texas, good songwriter from out there. So there's been A lot of cool moments.
And looking back on like when you got that guitar, did you ever expect that would like for when you had those poems in hand and guitar in hand, did you ever expect it to lead to that?
No, never. I didn't know where it was going to go. Really, I just wanted to see how far I could take it.
Well, you've been a prolific songwriter. How many albums do you have?
I have 4. I released my first solo acoustic album in 2013. It's called Sunday Morning Rain. And I actually moved to Knoxville in late 2012.
Mm-hmm.
I lived here for a couple of years. And while I was here, I reconnected with an old buddy, Chris Russell. And he had a studio up in his attic. And we just went up and I just sat down with my guitar. And that was like the first solo record that I put out. You know, that I really, and it kind of started with just me and an acoustic guitar. And then later on, it branched out to the band and kept going.
And now you just put out the full band live album back on the 20th, March 20th?
Yeah, it came out March 20th. It's called Live from the Butcher's Pub. And Butcher's Pub is a little small pub in Pineville, Kentucky, which is the county. I grew up in Bell County, Kentucky. And so it was pretty cool to do it in front of my hometown crowd. You know, it was pretty cool. But it's a small pub, and we just took a band in there and just set up the equipment. And it was funny because when we did it, we worked up 24 songs. And we thought, okay, we'll play 2 sets worth of music, and then if we're lucky, we'll get 12 out of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when it was over, there really wasn't anything we wanted to throw away. And we really liked it. So
that's
it was
awesome.
like, well, what do we do? We went back and forth, and finally I said, you know what? Let's just put it all out.
When you got something like that, it's kind of hard to trim the fat anyway.
It really
because
is.
You selected those songs very meticulously.
I did. I selected them for a reason. And one thing I did, I really wanted to do was I didn't want to have a live album that was just the previous studio albums just with live versions. I wanted to introduce new songs.
Yeah.
So I used as an outlet to introduce some new tunes, and we threw a cover or 2 on there. We did a cover of a Tom Petty song called Swingin'.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool. And it actually came out really good. What's funny is a good buddy of mine, Wayne Bledsoe, came up to me after the show and was like, man, you need to release that Swingin' song. That's the best song you ever wrote.
Listen to him.
And
you know Wayne's
like,
got an ear.
Oh, I know. I was like, well, Wayne, I was like, yeah, I really appreciate that, but that's Tom Petty. And he was like, really? And I said, yeah. And so I actually stumped Wayne Bledsoe. And
Really?
Yeah.
That
was like a
me.
highlight.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, you can wear that like a badge of honor, man. Absolutely.
I had to tell him.
Shout out to Wayne. Love Wayne.
Love Wayne. He's a brother to me.
So you did the release for that in the hometown.
Mm-hmm.
What is like a hometown show like that compared to, Kentucky has a different music scene than Knoxville and Tennessee.
Well, it's really, I don't know the word for it. It's, well, first of all, Bell County, where I grew up in, was a dry county for years. And so there was no places. Mm-hmm. And that's why I ventured down into Knoxville and places like that in East Tennessee, because up there it was all dry counties and there was nowhere to go. But here lately, they've went wet.
Oh yeah, and they've got some great craft breweries up in Kentucky now, man. Really a lot of these dry counties.
So all of a sudden, I'm doing shows in Knoxville, and then I got people I went to school with starts opening up little pubs here and there, going, "Hey man, come back home and play." And when we decided to do the live album, it was one of those things. It's just a bucket list thing.
Yeah,
I didn't really ever. That's another one of those things I really didn't think would happen. It was just kind of on my bucket list. And again, Wayne Bledsoe was who told me, he said, you need to do a live album. Because I would go on his show, The 6 O'Clock Swerve, and he was like, man, when you're with the band, it's different. Mm-hmm. It's like, when you're on stage, it's different. I like it. So, we just started kind of putting it together, and I talked to John Baker, who owns the Arbor Studio. That's where I recorded my last albums. And we put it together. He was like, yeah, we can do that. I think we can pull that off. And so
right on.
We just, I thought, well, one night I played a show at Butcher's Pub. Wayne told me, he said, you need to find a place that's rowdy, that will capture that energy.
Okay.
And so
that's Bell County.
Yeah. And so I'm playing Butcher's Pub one night, and as I was sitting there playing, the crowd was singing along the songs I wrote, and I was like, that really means a lot to me. And I was sitting there, and I was like, this is it. This is the place. And so I started talking to the owner, and when I pitched the idea to him, he loved it, and we just ran from there.
Well, and not to even sound like reductive or anything, but it's kind of a provincial attitude. It's everybody there is like there to support each other. It's that very small town community minded in a lot of the outlying areas. Knoxville's a big music community.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bands that fall through the cracks as far as like getting the support that they need or that they're due. So being able to, really hold down your hometown. Yeah. I think that's where it really counts, is when you've got people in your hometown supporting you. So.
Yeah, it really does. And I've been around that part for so long. But the time I spent in Knoxville, the couple of years I lived here, really helped get me going, because I've met so many musicians and became part of the scene, started writing with different musicians in town, things like that. And that really helped to build the launching pad. So
Knoxville's got a unique character. It breeds a certain kind of songwriter too. It seems.
I think so. Yeah. And the cool thing about Knoxville is that it's. I don't think there's such a thing as the Knoxville sound. I don't think there's necessarily.
No, there's about a kind of a Knoxville swagger. I
yeah,
guess.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's a little more in the attitude than the sound. I feel like.
Yeah.
Not as like the Nashville sound. It's just like you can put a finger on that.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So, what projects have you got planned for the rest of the year?
Well,
going into 2021.
Well, if we can get past this COVID-19, I had a tour booked for the end of the month. I was going to be venturing out to Texas and Oklahoma and Missouri, so it's just a matter of if we can get past this and make
get that lined up back again.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you've done quite a bit of touring. What are some of the better places that you've gone around the country? Some places that really stood out and they just welcomed you like a friend.
I went up to Richmond, Kentucky one time, and which is probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours from where I'm from, and I was just surprised that many people up there knew who I was. And it was kind of like almost like a Forrest Gump moment where I just kind of was looking around, going, "Well, there was that one." And I went down to Dalton, Georgia, did some shows down in Georgia and Chattanooga. One of the more recent shows I played in Chattanooga. I was kind of surprised that people there had came to see me. It's weird. Like it's 22 years in the making. And all of a sudden, you go somewhere and you see your T-shirt out there in the crowd. That you sold somebody 6 months ago. And wow.
Well, and over 22 years, a lot of people move around and stuff, and that word passes to be like, hey, you got to see this guy when he comes to town.
Yeah, and it's wild. You never know when you give someone a CD.
Mm-hmm.
You
how far it may go,
how far it may travel.
Yeah.
And so there's been times that someone's come up to me and went, "Hey man, 5 years ago you gave me this." And I'm like, "Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad you remember."
I'm glad I gave it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on. So where can people find your music easily, where they can get in touch with you?
For the most part right now, I'm on Facebook. That's the best place to find me. I'm on Spotify, YouTube. You just Google my name, you'll find me pretty much anywhere online. So.
Right on. And all the digital music outlets, all that stuff, Apple, iTunes, all that. So go get the music. Brandon Fulson got a brand new full band live album out. Just came back March 20th. Go grab that. Get in touch with him. Maybe he'll do a live stream concert to your living room or something like that. Set it up with him. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure having you. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss another ProMotion Live session.